Hi Greedy 3Ders. When you 3D print in an outbuilding, or like me in a glorified man cave, it's basically a summer house. Yes, it's insulated on the walls, the floor and the ceiling, but it hasn't got double glazed doors. And at this time of year in the UK, it's cold, about 4 or 5 degrees. You get a lot of condensation, you get a lot of damp. And as you know, damp is the enemy of 3D printing, especially with filaments like PLA, PETG, ABS, TPU. None of them like water. Let's have a look at one of the solutions we can possibly look at to combat that and make your 3D printing journey a little bit easier. Stay tuned. I'm sure you've heard of Chitu systems. Even if you think you haven't, you have. They're the guys behind Chitu Box, which is one of the most popular resin 3D printer slicers. Well, these guys have given me today to test for you guys what they believe is the solution to the problem of damp filaments. This is the FilaPartner E1. It is a drying and storage solution even for your filaments, up to 4 rolls of filament, 1 kilogram rolls. So you can fit up to 4 kilograms in here, 2 in each box, and they will be actively dried separately. Now the good thing about drying separately means that you can have a different temperature or time frame in the one than you've got in the other, and we'll come back to that in a bit. What you can also do with these boxes is really easily remove them and you can stack them. So if you want to buy extra of these boxes, you can buy these separately. I think they're available on Amazon. So you can have your spools in there, up to 2 in each one. You can have a pile of them as high as you want them, and you can keep them nice and dry and nice and protected from the moisture elements, because these are sealed, magnetically sealed units. I wouldn't say they're airtight, so let's be realistic here. They're not vacuum sealed, but they'll certainly keep your filaments drier for longer, keeping them in these boxes. And what this little unit here does, it's got 2 fans basically, one on the left, one on the right, operating individually, so you can operate them separately if you want to, or together of course if you want to. And this will allow you to heat up each individual box to different temperatures for different time frames to dry whichever kind of filament you've got in this box here. And when you want to dry that filament, you literally just drop them really easily back onto the drying unit. And it's got a little capacitive touchscreen on the front there that I'll show you in a little bit. You can tell it to start, tell it to stop, change the settings on it, etc., and it will dry your filaments. So not only will it dry them, it's a storage box as well, as I've just shown you. And also, if you want to use it as an active drying box whilst you're printing, you do get also with it these 4 little, I guess they're just little cut-offs of Bowden tubes that you can connect into each individual one and have them running from here. So let's say you're running something like I've got here the A1, or I've got down here the Centuri Carbon. Neither of these printers have got any kind of active heating for their filaments. They are exposed to the elements, which is not good. So there is nothing stopping me connecting this to one of these printers and running the printer while I'm heating the filament. Now it won't work as an AMS unit, so you can't do multicolour printing through this as you can using the AMS directly on your Bambu Labs A1. And as we all know, the Centuri Carbon at the time of making this video anyway doesn't have any colour changing facilities yet. That may be coming, but at the moment it's a single spool only, so something like this will be absolutely ideal for the Centuri Carbon. Now if you're lucky enough to have something like the Anycubic K3, or you've got the S1, they've got the built-in Ace Pro unit, so they will warm and dry your filament on the fly. But not everybody's got a warming box that you can get maybe with Anycubic or Bambu Labs or with Creality at the moment. You definitely could do with something external like this. Now the cost of this for your troubles is going to cost you around about the time of making the video anyway. I've seen it on Amazon for about 100 quid. So it's certainly not a cheap unit, but it will do what it says on the tin and dry your filament. Now if I just open up one of the boxes here and take the filaments out, Inside, as you can see, you've got a couple of runners that allow the filaments to roll easily. You've also got a couple of little cases that hold some of the silicate gel. Now, the silicate gel is what this system will use to absorb moisture in. The problem with silicate gels are eventually they reach capacity and don't absorb any more fluid. So you may need to replace them periodically, and dependent on how damp your environment is, dependent on how often you are drying things, will depend on how often you change them. But this isn't just going to last forever out the box. You really need to do something with those and make sure you keep them changed or topped up when you start to notice that moisture levels increase within this box here. So to put your filaments inside, it's absolutely simple. You just take your reels and drop them in onto the runners. Now, what this will not do, they won't rotate automatically inside while they are drying, but when you are printing with them, they're on runners, so obviously the spools will rotate nice and easy. And all you do is you close the box if you just want to pop them in for drying, you turn the seal, and that's it, you're done. Now, on the front and the back of the unit, there are these little rubber bungs here which lift off individually. And all you do with those, if you want to use it while you are actively printing, is push in some of the PTFE tube that they've given you, and you are done and dusted. And when you've finished and you want to take them out, they literally just pull out and you can close the little bung on, and that gives you a little bit more of an airtight seal. Now, they're not vacuums at all, but it's definitely tight enough to stop the majority of moisture going into it, and you can then revert back to using it as a storage box. So let's just take a little look at the unit now. On the front of the unit, you've got the 3.5-inch capacitive LED touchscreen. Now, it does work. It's a little bit janky. You do have to press it harder than you would have to press something like, for example, your mobile phone. But it does work. It just needs a little bit more encouragement to work on it. Around the side of the unit, as you can see there, you've got a USB-C socket, which is going to be used to update firmware, etc. And you've also got these three connectors here. Now, I don't know what they are for. If you know, please let me know in the comments. But I'm not quite sure what they're for, but they're there. I suggest it's for some kind of expansion unit, maybe in the future. They tend to not put these things there for random. So let's see what the answers are for that one. The side of the unit, this side has nothing on, but the back of the unit, you will find the power in and the on-off switch, and it is as simple as that. So all you will do to get it to work is pop your filaments in and turn it on, and I'll show you that right now. So this is the capacitive touchscreen on the FilaPartner that we spoke about earlier, and this is your control access point. This is where you will do all of the work. If we just have a quick look at it, you can see that it's got quite a clear screen. It's well documented. It's got a couple of colours on there, but on the whole, it's got a good contrast. And you can see that you've got number 1 and number 2 at the top. They correspond to box 1 and box 2, and a little press on those will change them between the two. Now, you've got to give it a firm press. It's not like a mobile phone. You do have to give it quite a good old touch to get it to work, and that's how you switch between the two boxes. Each box will give you the same readings, but they will be different in their levels, of course. Box 1, we've currently got 11 degrees centigrade, just dropping up and down between 10 and 11 in box 1, and a 48% humidity. At the moment, it's set to 45 degrees and 4 hours. Now, you can change that to your liking, and that's really easy to do. All you need to do if you want to change maybe the temperature or the time is just click on the temperature button there, and if you want to make it bigger, just delete what's already there and change it to, say, 60 degrees and hit the little enter key, the tick mark, and it will change it to 60. The same with the time there. If you want to maybe add 30 minutes onto that, you can do that just by deleting what's already there, changing it to 30, hitting the little tick, and now you've got 4.5 down. Really easy. You can't do anything with that. That's the humidity level. That will change as it goes through its process. And down the bottom here, you can see a little option. If we click on that, you can choose what it believes are the standard settings for certain things, such as PLA, ABS, etc. Now, you can either use these or you can change them. Some people will think they're absolutely fine. Other people will think, do you know what? They're just not enough for me. I want to change them. And whatever I change on box 1 will not correspond across to box 2. As you can still see, that's only showing 4 hours. So you can treat them completely separately. If you want to heat PLA in 1 at a nice steady sort of 25 to 30 degrees, you can. If you want to throw PET G in and you want to take it up to 60 degrees, then you can. Really, really easy. The next one down there is the favourites, and what you can do with favourites is you can set your own 4 favourites per box so that it will save you having to amend them and change them. And to do that, as we said, all you need to do is click on it, change the figure, click the plus, and obviously with the time frame as well. So you've got some control over both of the boxes there. And finally, you've got the settings box there where you can do all sorts of different things and change things, etc. Intelligent control will allow it to automatically dry when it reaches a certain temperature, etc. You've also got a silent mode there which will kick in if you want it to. Maybe you're printing in your house, maybe it's very quiet, maybe you're recording a video in the background and you want it to be a little quieter. Well, you can do that. And I'll show you what the sound settings are with this on and with this off, so you've got some kind of comparison to make. And that is pretty much it with the FilaPartner. It's really easy to use. There's no rocket science at all. What's interesting, if we just have a quick look, this is a hygrometer that I've got, which has been sat outside within the man cave, but outside the filament for the last couple of days. So you can see that in here we've got a really high humidity of 79%, and it's quite cold at just over 8 degrees centigrade. Well, you can see that this hasn't been running really. I haven't had this operating, but you can see that it's on 53% at the moment, so that there is less moisture in there, so it's doing some kind of job, although it's still cold in there. What I will do is turn this on, let it run for half an hour or so, and just see if that makes any difference. Let's do it for number 1. We've got 10 degrees and 48%. Let's turn it on. Now, just while that is running, as you can see, it's not too loud, it's not dramatically overpowering. We'll do the full decibel test on the quiet mode and on the normal mode, but you can see that the temperature is starting to slowly climb, which is exactly what we want it to do. Now, you've got to bear in mind this is in a closed environment, so absolutely that's going to heat up before too long at all, and it's creeping up nicely as we speak. The current moisture level at 45 degrees and now 44 degrees, as you would expect also with the temperature going up, is going to reduce. So it's definitely doing something in there. It's doing what it says on the tin, I would suggest. I'm sure you would agree with me that the evidence is laid out before us, and as you can see with the little hygrometer sat to the left, that pretty much isn't moving at all. Again, it's doing what you would want it to do and what it is designed to do. So with one fan running, we're going to do the first decibel test. Let's have a look what one fan on its own running with no silent mode achieves. So we're looking about 50 decibels. Let's turn fan 2 on and see how much louder it goes. So with both fans running, I think you'd agree it's not horrendous. That's not the end of the world. It's not going to deafen you out. Let's see what silent mode does. Well, with both fans running, it goes down to around about 53. It's not a huge difference, but I'll turn it off so you can hear the difference. I think silent mode basically just slows the fans down just a little bit, but not too deafening, I'm sure you agree. Now, the other thing I like about this device is that its narrowest point is its front, which means that you can fit that in between printers without it taking up too much desk real estate. We don't want it side on, we want it front on, and that's exactly what it is with the power coming out the back. So that's absolutely perfect for saving space. And don't forget, you can stack these on top of each other too. Quick look at what's happening with the temperatures now. So box 1 has gone up to 32 degrees and the humidity has gone down to 26%. Again, it's only been on for 5 minutes or so, and it's already made quite a drastic difference. Now, if you do want to use it as an active heating source while you're printing, that's really easy to do. All you need to do is open the box up, pop in one of the little PTFE tubes and feed through the end of your filament. Close the unit, lock the unit, and then pop that into your 3D printer and you are away to go. And as you can see, you can still be actively heating while it is printing, and obviously the reel will rotate quite freely inside. You'll also notice these little moisture cards that sit here. Now, these are designed to show you what kind of moisture content is in your box. So if you haven't got it turned on and you're not looking at the LED screen, you can still have a glance at it. Maybe you've got these boxes stored, just to see what the moisture content is inside the box, and that will let you know whether you need to re-dry that filament or whether it should be okay to run straight away. You'll also notice that on the bottom of the box you've got these magnetic plates which are removable, that do allow you to connect them together, and also this seals them on top of the box nice and firmly. You've got some rubber bungs on the bottom, and obviously you've got the two holes where the air will go in one, the cooler air, or the hotter air rather, and the cooler air will recirculate around to draw that heat in, and that hopefully that colder, fuller moisture air out. So that's the FilaPartner E1 from Chitu Systems. It's the Chitu Systems attempt to solve the problem of damp, moist filaments, and I think it certainly does what it says on the tin. It's certainly showing that it's reducing the moisture content in each box. It's also showing me that when I leave them unattended for a fair few hours, that moisture content, although it doesn't stay where I left it because these aren't vacuum seal units, it's certainly not getting dramatically worse compared to what I'm sure is happening to these filaments that I've got just lying around outside in the environment, if you will. If you want to get hold of one of these, I'll put a link in the description for you. As I say, in the Black Friday sales, they're roughly around about 100 quid. I think they're around about 150 in usual prices, but for £100 for 4 filament dryers, I don't think that's too bad. What do you think? Do you think that's a reasonable price? Do you think it's too much? Do you think you would like to see it at a lower price? Well, of course you'd like to see it at a lower price, but we've got to be realistic on this. Are you happy paying that, or would you rather pay a little bit less? Do you think it's a fair price? That's really what I'm trying to get from you. I want to thank Chitu Systems for sending me this. It's something I will definitely be using, especially on the Centuri Carbon. And if I'm printing with one reel on my A1, I'll definitely use it. But if I've got something like PETG or some other more elaborate material, I'll definitely be using this to dry it first. Now, the only thing it may not work with is the more robust engineering filaments that need much higher temperatures, but it's certainly better than just leaving it outside rather in the environment to dry off. So I definitely think it's a good bit of kit. Now, nothing is perfect, so there are some negatives. For me, the box is a little bit darker in colour than I would like, so I have to have a good old look, especially if you're using a darker colour to see through. You might not see if you've got a little bit less, but then again, just open the box, have a look. It's not really the end of the world. The touch screen, as I've spoke about, it's not the best touch screen in the world, but it's certainly functional. You just need to know that you've got to give it a little bit more of a press. The only other thing that I've heard that could be a negative is these PTFE tubes. I've heard from other users have come out now during printing. That's not what I've experienced. They seem fairly robustly stuck in there, so I can't imagine it pulling out, but other people have experienced that. But it's certainly not happened to me when I've used this in anger to do a little bit of printing. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today on the channel, please think about subscribing to the channel. Think about joining the Greedy 3D Patreon. We do have a Patreon. It's free at point of entry if you want it to be, or if you want to donate a little bit to the channel to help me carry on doing things like this, you can do. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of what you've seen today. Is it something you'd buy? Is it something you would purchase? I definitely think working in a man cave like this, it's something that I could definitely recommend, and something that I will definitely be using. I hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you to Chitu Systems for sending this to me to try. I've really enjoyed using this, and I certainly will use this going forward. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time on Greedy 3D.